There we go. Just coming up to 20 to 8 here, Trickstar Radio. This is Breakfast with Kxvu. I hope you are enjoying the show. I most certainly am, because we're about to jump into something I've been looking forward to doing all weekend. We are going to give you our official Shang-Chi review, and here is your spoiler klaxon. If you haven't already seen the film, turn away now for the next 3 minutes. There it is. There's your klaxon. So, overall, I really enjoyed this film. It's been, I can safely say right from the start, this was my favourite cinema experience, Marvel-wise, since Endgame. I really loved how the film was put together. I was actually quite sceptical beforehand, because obviously this is a new character, not a character I'm particularly familiar with as well. So to see how the film immediately felt like a Marvel film was fantastic, despite the fact we were again visiting areas we haven't visited before. We've kind of visited different parts of the world with Marvel at this point. We've done sort of Norse stuff. We've done stuff from around Europe. We've done stuff from different places, and now finally we are kind of going into sort of Asian territory as well, which is really cool to see. Overall, really enjoyable. One thing that I really enjoyed about the film is that it didn't go over the top with martial arts. Myself, whenever I watch martial arts films, I do tend to get a bit bored quite quickly. I find it quite repetitive, but the way they kind of wove that sort of martial arts style of fighting in with more, I'd say, sort of traditional combat, and the way it was shot and the sort of moving camera angles and things like that, it kept me very entertained the entire way through. The one thing that Marvel gets critiqued about a lot is extended fight scenes just going on and on and on. I thought they got the balance just right with this one. I feel there are actually a lot of places where they could have gone wrong with this film, to be honest with you. The sort of introduction of new characters, the sort of introduction of other universes, essentially, the animation at the end of all the sort of big demon-y monsters, like the way they all came across. I thought they nailed each and every part of the story where they should or maybe could have actually messed things up. They didn't spend too long on the background of Shang-Chi either. It was sort of woven into the film, but it wasn't like everything is about this individual thing. They sort of skipped over it quite quickly, and it worked really nicely. And another thing that I did really enjoy was the sort of MCU continuity that they were able to build in from the start. I feel this is something they would have sat down and thought, how can we make this relevant to the rest of the MCU quite quickly? The introduction of Wong quite early on, Abomination as well, Trevor Flattery being involved. Obviously, we sort of knew that was going to be the case after Marvel dropped All Hail the King on Disney+, which is obviously a short about him. And he was a really interesting addition to it as well. He just added a sense of humour. He was a sort of comic relief, but he also added a few extra bits as well, including that sort of level of continuity. Another thing I actually enjoyed on that continuity level is when they were in the fight pit quite early on, you actually see someone fighting with extremis attached to them from Iron Man 3, and obviously Trevor Flattery is a character from Iron Man 3, so it's again a really nice way of tying everything together. The 10 Rings are first mentioned in that film as well, so it's just adding that level of MCU continuity. The music, incredible. I genuinely thought this might be one of my favourite MCU soundtracks. The way they weave sort of traditional Asian themes into a classic Marvel fanfare was spectacular, and the introduction of Shang-Chi's power level as well. The guy just takes down a death demon and he's sort of ready to go, you know. It's really cool to see. And then obviously the post-credit scene is very exciting. The sort of general theory I'm seeing everywhere is this is how we're going to link into the Eternals, and it's actually the signal, that sort of beacon, is what summons the Eternals early on. But we're going to see as things move forward. We've only got about 5 weeks to wait until that film drops, so I am very excited. There we go. That's our official review of Shang-Chi here on Breakfast with Kxvu. If you haven't seen the film yet, do go and see it. It's going to be very exciting to see moving forward. For now, though, New Music Mondays.
Trickstar Radio.